Good afternoon, everyone. We will go ahead and get started on today's training webinar. Today's training topic is on how to build a custom report within the Selerix system. This way you will be able to log into Selerix and know how to go in there and build a report to pull the data that you are needing for a certain time frame. This shouldn't take too terribly long, so once we're done with this, if we have some time, we can also touch base on other items. So here I have logged into the demo case that is used for the trainings. As you can see here, it's just the home page. So when you're needing to, get to any point within Selerix, you always start here at the home page. We will go to Reports, and we will go to Create Report. Okay, here is where you will begin on how to build your report. You always want to give your report a name. That way, once you're done using it, if you want to use it again, I can show you how you can go about finding your report and using it again. And in this little field, you can have a description. So if you want to be more specific on why you need this report, just to remind yourself, if it's not one that you use often, you are able to do that. And the report type, you can put it into however you think that it needs to fall, if it's for employees or if it's for payroll. If you want employees, benefits, and covered dependents, if you want all dependents regardless if they're covered or not, this kind of will give you the type of report that you can use. The most common one here is the employees, benefits, covered dependents. It's just the most common one that'll pull all the data that is necessary. And here I'm just going to label this one the demo report. And then you can scroll down, and unfortunately they only give you like a little box to kind of pull what you want to report on. So you kind of just have to scroll through. Some of the common things that you will normally want will be the employee social, and you click the little add sign, and that adds it to your report. You can do the first, middle, and last. If you'd rather just have one full name, you can do full name. Date of birth is usually common. And then you go down here to the contact area. From this field, you can, if you want all contact information, all you have to do on any of these, that's the heading, is just click that, and it'll go ahead and add all of these fields, so you don't have to select them individually. And then you can keep scrolling through. And if you want all employment data, again, you just click here. But if you are only wanting like job class and date of hire, you can just click those two little plus signs. And as you can see, there's several different fields here to choose from under each heading. And here's like dependent data. If you wanted to make sure that you got all dependent data, you can click the plus sign here, or you can do covered person, and it'll pull all covered dependents. If you don't want a certain field, then you don't have to click that field. ACD. This will give you the adds, changes, and delete fields. So if you wanted to just pull per employee, if they've added, changed, or deleted a person or a dependent, then you would click these fields here, and it can give you the date, the type, and the reason. So like if you're doing a life event and for whatever reason, divorce, court order, they added a dependent, you could click this field and it would pull that data for you and report on that. In some instances, we do and are required to collect primary care physician data for the dependent and the employee. So here is where you can collect that data that is in the system. If you keep scrolling, you'll see this other field. This is if you get dependent verification documents that are uploaded, if you wanted the dependent termination date, those sort of things. And then down here is the coverage options. If you want to get all data related to the current coverage, then you can click this plus sign, and you can see it outlines it here. And it went ahead and applied all of these items so that you didn't have to select them individually. You can see there's a pending coverage field. This is when there's GI or underwriting instances, it would pull that data. If we wanted to see prior coverage, if we loaded prior coverage into the system, in some instances we do so, then this is where we can collect that data. If you wanted enrollment data, if you wanted to see if an enroller enrolled an individual or if they logged into the system themselves, you could also pull that here. You can pull beneficiary data, a little more that are more on the level of setting up EDI files, which is what we do internally. This is here where I could pull out EDI parameters along with case information to pull and send to carriers. And most of these below here all pertain to EDI, which is something that most of you do not have to worry about since we handle those in-house. But I will go ahead and scroll all the way to the bottom just so you can kind of see that there are several options. And once you're done selecting everything that you are needing in the report, you can hit close. And then you can view here all of your fields. And these will output in an Excel format. You are also able to change the column name. So this is what it's going to pull here in the include field. If you needed to change the column name, you could do that so here. And if you just wanted it to say SSN, you can change that here and click Save. And the new column name would be SSN. And it saves that for you. So if you ever want to change a column name, so when it outputs, you don't have to worry about doing it. It'll do it ahead of time for you. You would do that here. Over here in the formatting, this is something that you are able to also change if you kind of know what format you're wanting it in without having to format the cell individually. So for date of birth, this is the format you would use if you want month, month, day, day, and then the 4 for the year. Down here in benefit amount, the little pound sign indicates a number is being used, and the comma indicates how many fields. So you could have a benefit amount up to this many numbers and fields. I don't know that you would have to worry with this so much, but that is an option. So once you're done kind of reviewing, if you're like going through here and thinking, you know what, I don't need the pre-text field, you can check mark it here and click this red X and it'll delete it for you. But then if you're thinking, you know what, I think I might have missed something, you can always do this little plus sign here and it'll bring this up for you. And I wanted to show you on here this blank field. You can always add a blank field by clicking the plus sign, and you can see here that it added my blank field. But I want the blank field in a different location. So you would go down here and use the arrow to move it to whatever location you want it. And I put it at the very top. And I can name this whatever I want. So I'm just going to put the blank field. I want it to always output this. So this column name will always output GDP demo. And then I will click save because I wanted to save all my changes. Now I want to run this report. You would click save and run. And here are the parameters that are given. So basically, when it's under general parameters, you can choose between the different plans that are built. I can choose to do all plans or just health. And then you can choose all the products, which this means if there's more than one voluntary plan or health plan, you can just narrow it down to one, or you can do all at the same time. I'm going to choose the base health plan because I want the data to pull for that. And then you can even narrow it down by location. So in some instances, we only have 1 or 2 locations, and then in some instances, we have 100 or more locations. You can choose all locations or narrow it down. Then you can also narrow it down to the employee. So you can either report on all your employees, or if you just want to pull the data on a specific employee that you have a question about, you're able to narrow it down by employee. And scope. So here are different options. So the ACD would only pull any adds, changes, or deletes. A full report would pull all data. Additions would be the COBRA eligible. So in this instance, anyone that has gone into a COBRA start, then this would pull them. The deletions, COBRA eligible, this will pull anyone that has a COBRA end, and it would only pull those that need to be removed from COBRA. And then newly eligible, this is also one that will pull any of those that are in a not begun status that fall into a certain enrollment period. And then the full report with waves, this pulls all data, including the employees at the time of enrollment decided to waive all coverages. The reporting period. So for the reporting period, you can obviously do any start or end date that you would like, but it also gives you some predefined. So if you just wanted it for the current month, you can do that. You can do it just for tomorrow. You could have done it for yesterday. So these give you all sorts of options here. I normally just choose the current plan year so that it'll automatically put the start end date for the current plan year. Now, if I chose the previous 2 weeks, you can see that it automatically inputs those dates for me, so I don't have to go back and look. And then you do have delivery options. So for delivery options, you can run it now, and then you click the Run Now button, and the report runs, and you wait for it, you download it, and open it. You can deliver a report, and you can choose recipients. You can choose yourself. So I need to run this, but I am running off to a meeting, or John has pulled me onto another project really quick, so I can just click choose recipients myself and run now, and the system will email me once my report is ready. You can also choose to have it delivered to other recipients as long as they are listed within your case as someone that you can see here that I have several options here who I normally deliver reports to. And then you can also schedule a reoccurring report. So say you built this report and you want it monthly, or if you need it weekly, then you can always make it a reoccurring report. You can have the report start today, and I normally put I put the last day of the plan year. That way it'll give me everything from now until the end of the plan year on each report. If I wanted the report to start today and then in next month, it'll only give me coverages through next month or employees through next month. In your report range, you are given several options. The most typical one you will use is from last interval to end of plan year. So from last interval, if I'm going to schedule this one to be sent to me monthly, so I'm going to start it today, and I'm going to have it run through the end of the plan year, but I only want it to send me any changes that occurred from today through the end of the plan year. And then when I run it next month on July 28th, I only want it to send me changes that occurred from June 28th to July 28th, nothing that occurred prior to June 28th. So it'll only give me new changes and not changes that occurred since December. You can also just see things that happened during open enrollment or the previous 7 days. You do have many options. And then here at the frequency, you can have it run daily, weekly, and you can choose your day of the week, monthly. You can have it run on the first day, the last, second, third, fourth. You can pretty much narrow it down to send you a report however you see fit. We will go ahead and have this report run now. So you can always run the report now by clicking the Run Now button. Depending on how large and how much data you have in the system will typically determine how long it takes the report to run. It is fairly quick, but occasionally it can take a long time depending on how many employees and how much data you have. It does go through the steps pretty quickly. You can see it's done. It kind of gives you a preview. So you can see that there's going to be 4 records. It took 15 seconds, and it narrows it down for you. You click download, and then open. And it's going to open in an Excel format for you. So here is the report that we built. As you can see, my first column, I wanted it to say GDP demo. That way I know that this is just for my demo. You can name it whatever you want, of course. Here's the socials and the names that we selected. You can just scroll across and see that it output everything that I selected. So when you do set up files and create files, it will always be in an Excel format. And then you can close this window. And then if you see something on there that you want to change, you can always click the Edit Template button. And it takes you back, and you can always edit it. There are other options that you can choose from. You can always name your file. So if you schedule a reoccurring file, that way when it's delivered to you, you can just name the file so you know exactly when it comes into your email, oh, this one's named my monthly payroll report. Then you would know exactly what it is. Some of these I don't know that you would ever need to use. If you did, we could always touch base on that. Some of these are a little more in-depth that I would use, but not so sure that you guys would use them other than the file name. The report definition tab, this is where you would go in and add or change any of the fields as I showed you previously. Here's the report that we built. So the next tab would be the scripting tab. I don't know, some of you may be good at coding and scripting, and this is where you could put that in. I do use this field pretty often, so if you ever wanted to touch base on this, you can do a one-on-one training. Also on the report definitions tab, you can see it also has scripting, and this would be also a place where you would do it. Like here it's telling me, here I could add script to put whatever I wanted in this blank field. You could also do it per column as well. The parameters tab isn't something that you should have to touch either. It's something that I would use on my end. Same with the child reports. You wouldn't have to use this very often or change control. When you're out there building reports or running reports, you don't have to worry about breaking anything because you won't. Feel free to go out there and do as you please. So say I'm back at the home screen because I'm logging in again and I want to run that report that I just built. My system's going a little slow. You don't have to rebuild it. You could do the run report option, which also takes you to where all reports in the system are here. So it always leaves you at standard. If you click all, and you scroll down here, you can see there's like pages and pages of reporting. You can always type in the name of your report, and it's going to pull it for me, and I click Run Now. And here it is. So if you're ever needing to find your report, you just use this Run Report option. You're also able to set favorites. And so you can always star one to be your favorite. So if you go back to all, you see these little stars. I'm going to go ahead and make this one my favorite. And there it is. So you can always make any certain reports that you might want to use a favorite. I think that's all of building a report that I was going to go over. You will see that there are tons of reports out here. If you ever have a question about one, you can let me know. Most of them are carrier reports for whenever I send data to certain carriers. But anytime you build a report, it will be out here for you to then pull and use. I think that was all. So if anyone has any questions on custom reports or reporting, I will look for those now and try to answer those as they come in. If you ever wanted a custom report built, I could always do that for you. We can go over it, and I can pull certain data that you see fit or need. I am also able to walk you through, if you don't feel comfortable building a report, walking you through that, or you can always email me because there may be a report out there that you kind of have in mind, and so I could always point you in the right direction for any report that may be out there. Because there are HR reports that are already out here that you may want to run. You might not fully understand it, so we can walk through it. I can answer any questions that you may have. There are also payroll reports out here. So like you see this one come up 200 by remit record. You may have no idea what that means. So there's all kinds of reports that are already built out here. So most of the time, I will have a report already built in the system that you could probably need or use so that you don't have to start from scratch. So there are several different reports, the standard reports as well. So that is always an option as well. I don't see any other questions regarding reports out there. Are there any questions regarding anything else? We do have a few minutes that I can touch base on for you if you have other questions at this time. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions out there. So as always, if you do have any questions or concerns, you can email myself or my colleague Ian. And we also have our wonderful CSR team that is also available to help or answer any questions. So feel free to reach out to any one of us here and we will try to assist you. We will have another training call in July. So look for the invitation for that. If anyone else you know that needs to be added or sent a request, also let me know and I can add them as well. Thank you, everyone.